Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my brothers and sisters. I hope you're praying your salahs as well as looking to the Qur'an and Hadith for guidance in your everyday life. If you're watching this video and it's salah time, please pause it and go pray and come back when you're done. For Islamic advice and guidance on Muslim marriages and relationships, get in touch with me via the Halal Growth Hub. The link is in the description. Please also check out the description section of this video to get my new dawah products and to support the channel. I was sent a clip of a sister that I have covered previously. She goes by the name of Sadia. For more background on her, check out my previous videos on her. Needless to say, I see this sister in a positive light. She's actually going through some sort of censorship on Instagram at the moment, so I urge viewers to go and show her some support as she is a fellow Muslim. Today's clip also includes a Yemenese American Muslim brother named Adam Saleh, who is a very popular online figure that is no stranger to controversy himself. The conversation between these two gets very real and to the point, addressing some very personal matters, especially in regards to brother Adam's Haram relationships out with marriage. If you would like me to react to any of your suggested videos, please become a channel member via the join button on my page. Let's roll the clip.
What does a typical relationship with women look like for you?
The first one was like a high school, like wasn't really it was like a fake one, it wasn't really a real one. Like, okay. And the second one was like I was doing YouTube at the time. I wasn't really known much yet. We broke up because I think it's so stupid because there's different sects of Islam.
Yeah.
So like
she was
Shia,
okay.
Shia. Yeah. And I don't mind. I didn't
you
Shia.
Don't. But for them it might be
Muslim. I look at it as you Muslim. Like your parents didn't like accept me being like Sunni. But at the time I was just like it's not even about like Shia, Sunni, and then like I don't really want to even get into that. I love you for you. You're Muslim. I'm Muslim. Like it doesn't.
It didn't make sense to you.
Yeah, they were just so seriously on it. So I ended up breaking up with her. I said it can't work out. I wanted to marry her, but she was like, "Hey, my family's not gonna accept. They know you're Sunni. That you need to be Shia. My family's Shia. They will never accept you." I guess I kind of got like turned off.
Yeah. When you have a lot of fame at a very young age, you have a power privilege because one of the things with being famous is the sheer amount of women increases, and especially as you get older. I
did have a relationship once where I thought they were like stable and calm. I feel like I got kind of like fooled. Slowly I just started realizing like I seen a side that I've never seen. I had feelings for her. I didn't know at all she was like that. And I found out she's gotten arrested before. She was in jail before for like 9 months. And then she ended up confessing, saying like yes, she had to go to court, blah blah blah. She would threaten me sometimes too, like if you break up with me, I'm gonna like bring people to jump you. I'm gonna like poison your drink, stuff where I didn't feel safe at all. It actually took me like 4 months to break up with her. I really had to get a restraining order.
Okay, so she was quite a difficult person.
Very difficult.
Difficult person.
Didn't really bring no happiness. Like she knew where I live, and she was saying like stuff that I was like, come on.
Genuinely scared, not even like.
Yeah, no, I was genuinely like, come on, like a very dangerous person. They didn't care about the police.
Okay.
They didn't care. Like I would even say I'm gonna call the cops, and like I'm gonna do this to you. I'm gonna do that to you. Her mom was even talking to me like, no, please, Adam, just stay. And then I'll get like manipulated into staying, and I'll stay. Another time they even brought a sheikh.
Why would you bring a sheikh?
To make
sheikh is like an imam, like a priest, basically.
Yeah, like a priest. Like brought a sheikh to make our relationship better. When I'm trying to break up with her, and they're bringing a sheikh to try to make our relationship better, and it was just very, very toxic. They violated me. They tried to like end my life. They tried to end my career. I have my mom and dad to take care of. I have nieces and nephews. I have a future wife to have.
So what we now have to do is kind of break the cycle of familiarity, because what is normal to you isn't what's good for you. And going forward, especially with the lifestyle that you're going towards, you just have to be mindful when selecting a partner that you find what you actually need, not necessarily what excites you. And how you break that cycle is not actually as difficult as it might seem. The problem with who brings you pleasure is in the long run you actually need peace. If somebody brings you a lot of pleasure but no peace, they're going to be a risk. They can bring you loads and loads of pleasure, but there's no happiness in pleasure in the long run. It's very short term. Long run, you need peace. So when you do look for people, even if they have a million pleasurable things about them, it's better to actually be with somebody who brings you less pleasure but more peace.
How do I find what do you mean by peace?
Now what we mean by peace is they don't have any deal breakers. She's a bit volatile, or she's a bit insecure, or she's jealous. Those are deal breakers. So even if she's got a million great things, but even one deal breaker, you'll never be at peace. Whereas if somebody has no deal breakers and they're not that fun, you'll always have stability. And in the long run, it takes longer, younger, they will bring you pleasure. Now, if she grew up in a home that didn't give her much love, and she hasn't really got that stable family environment, she's likely to be a little bit insecure. And then as a result, they project it onto their partners until they get help. If they get help, they're totally fine. Just use your deal breakers as a guide.
Wow.
The moment she's argumentative and controlling and disloyal, all these things, so there's no point. And you almost have to train your own brain to try and seek a little bit more peace than pleasure, because pleasure is overrated. It's fun for the day. Peace is fun for life. Yeah,
Wow.
and peace will also help you stabilize all the other avenues in your life. Your career will get easier. If you find a woman who's your peace, you will be able to perform better in everything you do because you go home to stability. Chaotic women with your chaotic lifestyle will lead to no long-lasting relationships. You said you do want to settle down a bit? Like,
yeah, of course. Everyone in my family is married, and I do want to settle down and find the one. I mean, I've never been with one person longer than a year. So.
Okay, you have to start valuing the peace that comes from one woman rather than the pleasure that comes from hundreds. Do you want to be a father?
Yeah, I want to be a dad, yeah.
It can't happen until that switch from pleasure to peace.
Yeah.
What would happen if you did do it prematurely and become a father and husband is if you're still in pleasure-seeking mode, it would lead to a chaotic family structure. When you become peace-seeking, inshallah, and peace-seeking, inshallah.
The main thing is to find a wife.
The mindset has to change because it's very difficult to find a wife when you're surrounded by women and options.
Credit to the sister for speaking in an Islamic context in regards to fatherhood and marriage. It's clear from the clip Brother Adam does have those aspirations, but due to a lack of an Islamic approach to his relationships, he tends to find himself with westernized women, despite them having Muslim backgrounds, because he himself has a very Western outlook. But to be fair to him, his heart seems to be in the right place. And even though he has had some haram relationships, he still wanted to marry one of them Islamically, but the Sunni-Shia clash was the deciding factor. I won't go into the Islamic sectarian division here, I'll leave that for a future video. He was also with a female who, from what he said, had run-ins with the law and seemed quite erratic, but the fact that she involved a sheikh tells me she probably was Muslim too. And again, to be fair, we didn't hear from her, so we don't know both sides of the story. In most relationship breakdowns, there are always faults on both sides. But this just goes to show that even if our Western brothers and sisters have Muslim roots, haram influences can be more powerful in moulding behaviours and characteristics, especially when the Islamic influence in the home is not very strong. Sister Sadia outlined the reasons why some women have these issues and what to look out for very well. She also gave men fair warning on how to avoid this type of chaos in their lives through a change in mindset and how they choose women. However, one thing that wasn't covered was, what about the sisters who have made mistakes and want to change and need some help but just don't know where to turn to? Are they just supposed to give up? Do we just disregard them? After all, they are still our sisters. They are our fellow Muslims. And that goes for sisters that find themselves in relationships that are damaged due to their past habits or repeated mistakes. Or it can even be due to issues with their husbands that are not their fault. There are a lot of Muslim women in the West that need guidance and help. That's why I've started my marriage counselling and relationship management service on Halal Growth Hub. My sisters, if you need help with this, please reach out via the link in the description. You are not a lost cause and you're not beyond help. Anything damaged can be repaired with the right amount of effort from you and guidance from someone who has had success in this area. Sister Sadia was correct in stating that when choosing a spouse, men should look at the long term, and this is applicable to women also. Like she said, we should look beyond short-term butterflies of excitement and more towards long-term peace of mind. The most important factors for a woman in choosing a husband are his attitude, behaviour and his commitment to religion. Wealth and lineage are secondary matters. The most important thing is that the potential husband should be religious and have a good attitude, because if a man has religious commitment and a good attitude, he'll be a blessing to you and your children, and your family will learn good manners and religion from him. And for the brothers, a hadith comes to mind. A man came to the Prophet ﷺ to seek guidance for selecting a spouse. The Prophet said, "It is binding upon you to have a religious spouse. A man who marries a woman for the sake of her wealth, Allah leaves him in his own condition, and a man who marries her only for her beauty will find in her mannerisms which he dislikes. And Allah will gather up all these beneficial things for the man who marries a woman for the sake of her faith." This does not mean we disregard a potential spouse's looks, wealth, family, background, etc., but just prioritise what will be most beneficial in terms of a healthy marriage in the long run. Please like, comment, share, subscribe and turn on notifications, as I'll be posting new content daily. Jazakallah khair. Allahu Akbar, Allah.